Hello and welcome everyone to the daily news analysis of the 2nd of October 2023। तो आगे बढ़ने से पहले थंबनेल का जो दिया गया है जितने सारे ये उसे थोड़ा देख लेते हैं। पहला जो है आज 2 अक्टूबर है, दृश्यम वाला 2 अक्टूबर नहीं, आज 2 अक्टूबर गांधी जयंती है, गांधी जी का जन्मदिन है और शास्त्री जी का भी जन्मदिन है, तो इसलिए 2 अक्टूबर इम्पोर्टेंट हो जाता है। उसके बाद ये जो बुलेट ट्रेन का पिक्चर दिया गया है, ये साउथ ईस्ट एशिया यानी कि चाइना फंड किया हुआ है। साउथ ईस्ट एशिया में इंडोनेशिया ने पहली बार रन किया गया है, साउथ ईस्ट एशिया में पहला है और ये चाइना द्वारा फंडेड है। ये इसका आर्टिकल थोड़ा देखेंगे हम लोग। और ये वाला जो स्पेस है ये कर्मन लाइन क्या है, जहाँ से आपका जो है स्पेस शुरू होता है, ये हम देखेंगे जैसे जैसे आगे बढ़ेंगे, वन बाय वन देखेंगे। ये उसका लास्ट आर्टिकल है। तो चलिए शुरू करते हैं। पहले इम्पोर्टेंट आर्टिकल हिंदू न्यूज पेपर से देख लेते हैं। पहला जो है, ग्रॉस जीएसटी रेवेन्यू ग्रोथ slowed to 10.2% in September. Oil firm raised ATF and commercial LPG prices. Then Kashmir, that industry hit its sweet spot after 102 years और 102 ईयर 2 साल में हुआ है। Change in Maldives, then India's statistical performance on the global stage, then an aging India needs age-responsive TV care. Then the largest climate action lawsuit against 32 countries. The next जो है, how government agency use commercial spyware to target opponents. India-US relation now on a different plane according to Jaishankar. No copyright claim on the public service video, says प्रसार भारती। प्रसार भारती द्वारा बोला गया है कि कॉपीराइट कोई नहीं होगा पब्लिक सर्विस वीडियो में। Then no shortage of TB drug in the country, media report are false, says health ministry। कल जो बोला गया था कि टीबी ड्रग बहुत शॉर्टेज में चल रहा है, तो आज मिनिस्ट्री ने कंफर्म किया है कि देयर इज नो शॉर्टेज ऑफ टीबी ड्रग्स। Indonesia set to launch China-funded high-speed rail fast in South Asia। जैसे कि मैं थंबनेल का पोर्शन में बोल रहा था, ये वाला आर्टिकल वहाँ पे मिल ये वहाँ पे हम लोग डिस्कशन करेंगे। देन कर्मन लाइन वेयर द स्पेस बिगिंस, ये वाला भी थंबनेल का ही आर्टिकल है। चलिए शुरू करते हैं। पहला जो है जीएसटी, ग्रॉस जीएसटी रेवेन्यू ग्रोथ slowed to 10.2% in September. Gross GST revenue growth slowed to 10.2% in September. Growth in India's gross goods and service tax GST revenues slowed to a 27-month low of 10.2% in September, from around 10.8% in the previous 2 months. However, collection improved to 2.3% over August revenue to touch 1,62,712 crore rupees. Revenues from domestic transactions, including services import, were 14% higher than the tax collected from these sources during September 2022. This is the fourth time that the gross GST kitty has crossed the 1.6 lakh 1.60 lakh crore mark in 2023-24. The Financial Ministry said GST inflows from goods imports had recovered from 2 months of the contraction to grow 3% in August but shrank again in September, albeit by a fraction. While the Finance Ministry did not specify the extent of decline in its statement, back of the envelope calculations show that the GST revenues from goods import dropped 0.11% from last September. The last time that GST revenues grew at a slower pace was in June 2021 when collection rose a mere 2% amid the second wave of COVID-19 pandemic. The revenues in that month were based on domestic transaction between June 5 and July 5 since taxpayers were given various relief measures in the form of waivers and reduction in interest on delayed fillings for farms with an aggregate turnover up to 5 crore. Last month's GST revenue based on transaction carried out in August included central GST CGST collection of 29,818 crore rupees, state GST SGST of 37,657 crore rupees, and integrated GST IGST of 83,623 crore rupees, which included 41,145 crore rupees collected on goods import. Then GST compensation cess inflows were 11,613 crore rupees, including 881 crore rupees collected on the imports of goods. The government had settled 33,736 crore rupees to CGST and 27,578 crore rupees to SGST from IGST. The total revenue of the center and the state in the month of September 2023 after regular settlement in is 63,555 crore rupees for CGST and 65,235 crore rupees for SGST, the finance ministry said. Manipur highest, Bihar sees contraction. Revenues in strife turn Manipur, which recovered from a contraction in August, recorded the highest growth amongst the states in September, rising 47%. GST revenues in Telangana grew 33%, followed by Jammu and Kashmir 32%, Arunachal Pradesh 27%, Tamil Nadu 21%, and Karnataka 20%. As many as 17 states recovered revenue growth below the national average of 14%, while 12 states reported 14% of or higher growth. States seeing a slower uptick included Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh, Kerala, Haryana, Odisha, and Jharkhand, with Delhi, Meghalaya, and Assam recording the weakest growth of 2%, followed by West Bengal 3%. Bihar was the only state to report an actual contraction in GST collection in September, with revenue down 5%. The Union Territory of Lakshadweep and Andaman and Nicobar Islands are also clocked a sharp decline in revenues, which fell 45% and 30% year on year, respectively. By contrast, revenues shot up 81% in the Union Territory of Ladakh, settling pending dues. A part of the rise in September's revenues could have been fueled by business settling pending tax dues since the start of GST regime in 2017-18 tax export record. With normal period of limitation for the financial year 2017-18 ending on September 30, some of this increased collection could be linked to businesses having settled issue with the payment of taxes for the said period, said Abhishek Jain, indirect tax head and partner at KPMG. Revenues from the indirect tax may rise further with the festive season around the corner, he added. Then next we have oil farms raise ATF and commercial LPG prices. Oil farms raise ATF and commercial LPG prices. तो क्या है कमर्शियल कुकिंग गैस प्राइसेस rise by 209 rupees a cylinder. Establishments such as a restaurant to sell out more for fuel in the fourth monthly increase since July. The price of jet fuel hiked by 5%. Oil companies on Sunday raised the price of the commercial cooking gas by a sharp 209 rupees per 19 kg cylinder, and in fourth state monthly increase since July. The price of Aviation turbine fuel ATF or jet fuel was raised by 5%. The price of a 14.2 kg domestic LPG cylinder through though remains unchanged. The increase in price of commercial LPG may add to the expense of commercial establishments such as hotels and restaurants. A 19 kg cylinder now costs 1731.50 rupees in Delhi, 1684 rupees in Mumbai, and 1898 in Chennai. The largest increase largely reverses the quote of 157.5 rupees a cylinder made on September 1 and the 100 rupees cut on August 1. The 200 reduction in the price of domestic cylinder made in August is applicable to beneficiaries enrolled in the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, meaning a total subsidy of 400 for every 14.2 kg LPG cylinder. The Union Cabinet had approved approximately 75 lakh new LPG connections under the Prime Minister's Ujjwala Yojana in September. The initiative aims to provide these connections over the next 3 years at an estimated cost of 1650 crore rupees. The revision in the rates of ATF is expected to lead to a rise in airfares ahead of the festive season. Airlines it attributed approximately 40% of the ticket price to fuel cost. ATF prices are notified on the first of every month by state-owned fuel retailers. They are revised based on the average international price in the previous month. The ATF price has now increased to 1,18,199.17 rupees a kiloliter. In Delhi, 1,22,423.92 rupees in Chennai and 1,10,592.31 rupees in Mumbai. For domestic airlines, ATF price had seen their steepest ever hike of 14.1% in September and 8.5% hike in August and 1.6% in July. After Sunday's increase, jet fuel price have gone up by a whopping 29,391.08 per rupees per kiloliter. Then next जो है कश्मीर bat Kashmir bat industry hits its sweet spot after 102 years. For the first time in the 102 years of this manufacturing history in the valley, the Kashmir bat will be used in 50 over the World Cup matches. At the International Cricket Council ICC Men's Cricket World Cup 2023 hosted by India and which begins on October 5, the Afghan team will be wielding the Kashmir village. Players of Team Afghanistan have our bats in the tournament this year. At least 5 Afghan players have already used them in the past, says Fazal Kabir, 31, managing director of the GR8 Cricket Bat Company, displaying grand poster of international cricketers like Virat Kohli and Babar Azam. Bat manufacturing units and their outlets dotting the national highway in the South Kashmir are in a celebratory mode this year. In November last year, the bats tested success when UAE player Junaid Siddiqui hit Sri Lankan bowler Dusmantha Chamira to a 109-meter six, making it the longest six in T20 World Cup and bringing the bat manufactured by their company into international focus. I always dreamed of seeing Kashmir bat at the global level. The longest six proved good for us. Over 1 lakh bats were exported after the World Cup appearance last year, Mr. Kabir said. Kashmir's bat industry is mainly concentrated in South Kashmir's Pulwama and Anantnag district with groves growing in the wet highland nearby. Around 200 bat manufacturing units engaged around 50,000 people for production. The female cultivar of white willow is considered the best for bats. Each cleft is expertly shaped, especially the middle spot and the toe blade. A bat weighing around 2 pounds and 7 ounces, a little over 1 kg, remains the most preferred bat globally. Kashmir exported around 1.35 lakh bats in 2022. Our company manufactures around 3,000 bats a month these days because the demand is up, says a visibly pleased Mr. Kabir. His company was the first in Kashmir to get a certification from the ICC in 2021 and also bagged a contract to supply bats to the Oman Cricket Board the same year. As per official government estimates, 1.5 million bats are manufactured in Kashmir annually. Khalid Mir, another bat manufacturer in Anantnag's Hanawal town, has hired extra hands to meet the demand. The World Cup has already propelled cricket fever in Kashmir. We work in double shifts to meet the demand, which has gone up from 500 beds a month to over 1500, says Mr. Mir. Owners of several other bed manufacturing units also said the demand is up by 3 times this year. They have received bulk orders from Maharashtra, Gujarat, Karnataka, Punjab, Delhi, and Kerala. Customized beds are becoming popular among domestic cricketers now. A player gets to choose the weight and position of a sweet spot of a bat, Mr. Mir explained. However, Mr. Kabir says the bat sweet spot remains popular at the lower middle in Asia because of the pitch condition as the ball remains low in the west. The sweet spot is higher up because of a bouncy track, he adds. It was industrialist Allah Bucks from Pakistan who established the first cricket bat unit in Bijbehara's Hamula areas in 19th century. It achieved the status of small-scale industry by 1922. Bat craft would be ferried through the Jhelum Valley Road, getting its finishing touch at Sialkot in Pakistan. Then they were used by the British who introduced the game to India. However, it was the English willow that remained the preferred bat among international players because we could not get the science and the specifications right. But I see a great future for Kashmir bat with the new technology, says Mr. Kabir, who also supplied bats to the Sri Lanka and the Bangladesh team in 2022. Around 75,000 willow trees are cut annually to keep the bat industry in the state taking. A tree that attains a girth of a 58 inch (147 centimeter) or so is felled for the bat industry. Manufacturers says the raw material is depleting now. Only around 3,000 trees were available this season. The government needs to promote organized willow farming and maintain supply as per the demand, Mr. Kabir said. The next day change in Maldives. India must engage with a new government in mail and defend ties. The Maldives has chosen a new leader replacing President Ibu Suli, who won by a landslide in 2018 with Mohammad Muizu, the mayor of Mel and the choice of the previous ruling party, the PPM. Mr. Muizu won Saturday's presidential run-up that followed an inconclusive first round in which no candidate crossed 50% of the vote, winning nearly 54% to Solis 46% in this round. Mr. Solis' electoral loss is being attributed to a heavy anti-incumbency sentiment and concerns over the post-COVID-19 economy that is dependent on tourism. The rift within Solis party, the MDP, due to the rupture in his old friendship with former President Mohammad Nasheed, as well as concerns over sovereignty issues whipped up by Mr. Moijo's PPM that is behind an India out campaign to oust its Indian military personnel. PPM chief and former Maldives President Abdullah Yamin, the chief architect of that campaign and serving a jail term of 11 years, was openly at odds with India during his tenure. He had paved the way for a free trade agreement with China and loans for infrastructure project that the opposition said had led the Maldives into a debt trap. Mr. Soili turned the Maldives international compass, committing publicly to an India first policy as New Delhi undertook many infrastructure projects, assisted the Maldives during the pandemic and helped it during the campaign to have Maldives Foreign Minister Abdullah Shahid elected President of the UN General Assembly. As a result, the Solihi Muiju runoff was billed as an India versus China context by commentators who have sought to portray the result as a setback for India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi was among the first to congratulate President-elect Moizu on social media. New Delhi must avoid the impression that it has favorites within the Maldivian polity. The ball is now in Mr. Moizu's court to take up the promise of keeping India Maldives tie close. He has not himself criticized India in the way his party has. Among his tasks would be shoring up the Maldivian economy as debt repayments come due and taking lessons from events in the neighborhood such as Sri Lanka's handling of its economic crisis. It remains to be seen whether he will ensure the release of Mr. Yemen and what control the previous president will have over the new government. Mr. Moizu will have to preside over an upcoming referendum vote which Mr. Nasheed has pushed for to decide whether the Maldives will revert to a parliamentary system rather than the presidential one. Given its location in the Indian Ocean along key shipping routes, Mr. Moizu will have to balance a traditional strategic interest with India, which is its closest and most powerful neighbor, while engaging China and the United States that keenly watch developments there. It is important that neither Delhi nor Mel view these interests through the prism of zero-sum game and as that has led to tensions between them in the past. The next जो article है editorial क्वेश्चन से इंडिया से statistical performance on the global stage. India से statistical performance on the global stage. The World Bank's compilation of statistical performance indicator (SPI) ranks India 67 among 174 countries in 2019. Analysis reveals both shortcomings of a commendable performance in various aspects of SPI. The importance of SPI evaluation to enhance international competitiveness has been highlighted in these articles with recommendations for strategic improvements in critical pillars. There is also a need for more robust representation to the World Bank to define SPI as India celebrates its election to the United Nations Statistical Commission. India's own official statistical system has come under scrutiny within the country recently. Questions have been raised about the credibility of the statistics it produces and the competence of the official statisticians. Even acclaimed statistical method divided to generate these statistics which were subsequently adopted by other developing countries now face questioning. What is even more surprising is the assertion that the result of statistical exercises such as census and surveys are claimed to be of a poorer quality when compared to data from administrative sources, most of which suffer from uncertain coverage and conceptual shortcomings in general. The statistical system is now facing a trial in this context. Looking at the international rankings of the national statistical systems compiled by the World Bank can provide valuable insights. The SPI and the dimensions. The World Bank compiles SPIs to access the performance of national statistical system across 174 countries. The SPI is based on the assessment of five dimensions of performance commonly referred to as the five pillars of a national statistical system, that is data use, data services, data products, data sources and data infrastructure. India scored 2019 SPI overall score 70.4%. Pillar 1 data use 80.0, Pillar 2 data service 88.0, Pillar 3 data products 60.0, Pillar 4 data sources 68.9, Pillar 5 data infrastructure 55.0, and India's rank 2019 SPI overall score was 67. Pillar 1 data use 101, Pillar 2 data service 35, Pillar 3 data products 105, Pillar 4 data sources 31, Pillar 5 data infrastructure 73. The latest available sources scores are from 2019. According to these scores, India's overall SPI score stands at the 70.4, placing it in the 67th rank rank of rank are self-computed among the 174 countries assessed. The pillar-wise scores show India's lower performance in the data use and data products pillars with scores of 80 and 60 respectively, resulting in poor ranking of 101 with average rank of 116.5 and 105. The scores in the data use category depends on how different sector of society, including the legislature, executive, civil society, academia, and international bodies utilize the statistics produced by the system. The SPI assessment 2019 considered only data usage by international bodies. India performs well in measures assessing the compatibility of the estimates of child mortality, debt reporting, drinking water, and labor force participations. However, it is lowest 20 points due to the unavailability of a comparable poverty estimate for the World Bank over the last 10 years from 2017. This stems from a new comparability indicator introduced by the World Bank's net for poverty estimations. It is important to note that India did produce poverty estimates within this period through the NSS Consumption Expenditure Survey. An India assessment, the pillar data products anchors the national statistical system performance around the essential data required for sustainable development goals. To improve upon this, India has already taken the right step by conducting a multiple indicator survey and comprehensive annual modular survey in the NSS 78th round 2020-21 and 79th round 2022-23 respectively for collection of data on SDGs. Regarding data infrastructure, India's score is 55, ranking 73 with an average rank of 75. This pillar that encompasses five sub-divisions, dimensions, legislation, and governance standards and methods, skill, partnership, and finance. Skill and partnership were not considered for SPI 2019. India's scores for legislation and governance are high given that the national statistical legislation aligns well with the fundamental principles of the official statistics. Nonetheless, the overall score for data infrastructure is diminished due to moderate performances in India's standard and methods and poor performance in finance. In standards and methods, India fares well in indicators assessing the adoption of system of National Accounts SNA 2008 COI/COP classification of individual consumption according to purpose and latest standards for the compilation of government finance statistics, monetary and financial statistics. However, the scores in this dimension decreased due to the non-adoption of the latest standards of for classifying employment status such as International Classification of Status in Employment for or ICSC 93 or North American Industry Classification System or NAICS 2012. The accounting basis for reporting central government financial data and the non-utilization of the generic statistical business process model. This is perplexing given that the process followed in NSS survey closely mirrored the predates the adoption of the GSBPM. The finance category received a low score since according to the World Bank, India's national statistical plan lacks full funding. India excels in data services, scores 88, rank 38, 35 and data sources scored 68.9, rank 31, securing a place in the top quintile. For these pillars under data sources, these indicators are evaluated with the fourth indicator not considered in 2019. Census and the survey administered administrative data and geospatial data. Among these indicators, census and surveys score 100 out of 100 for census and 86.6 out of 100 for survey. Contribute the most to India's ranking, followed by administrative data score 50 out of 100, and finally geospatial data score 38.9 out of 100. The relative low score of administrative data is mainly due to non-fulfillment of criteria of at least 90% registration of birth under the civil registration system CRS. The World Bank has taken the estimate of coverage under CRS. The World Bank has taken and the estimate of coverage under CRS from the United Nations SDG monitoring database, which shows estimates of coverage of as 80.89% for children under 5 and 87% for children under 1. However, these estimates are actually derived from the National Family Health Survey conducted between 2019 and 2021, a period significantly affected by lockdown following COVID-19. Conversely, the publication of the Office of the Registrar General of India Vital Statistics of India cites the coverage of birth under CRS for 2019 at approximately 93%, which is a much more reliable source than NFHS for estimation of coverage of CRS. In the data services dimensions, India gets full points for data releases and data services, yet avenues for improvement remains in terms of online accessibility. Enhancement in this area could be achieved by improving download options, providing more comprehensive metadata availability, and open terms for data usage. India's commendable rank of 40 in the openness score from Open Data Inventory deserves recognition. SPI score, its revenue, its relevance. Clearly, the SPI for 2019 is compiled by the World Bank underscores India's superior performance in census and survey in comparison to administrative data. A thorough examination of SPI score is crucial to drive improvement and enhancement international competitiveness. It is though it is through identifying issues and establishing attainable goals that a substantial rise in ranking can be achieved. For instance, achieving a 20-point increase in each of the three pivotal pillars data products, data use, and data infrastructure would have positioned India at 34 in 2019. Moreover, proactive engagement with the World Bank to fortify the robustness of SPI is warranted. Use of vital statistics of India in place of NFHS for estimating the registration of birth and death of one such case. An aging India. One second. An aging India needs age responsive TV care. India is moving toward a future where the elderly will make up a significant portion of society primarily due to advances in healthcare and increased life expectancy. In 2011, about 9% of India's population were over the age of 60. This is expected to increase to 12.5% by 2030. The elderly represent a storehouse of wisdom and respect for their rights and freedoms benefit society. On International Day of Older Pensions, October 1, we must resolve to invest in the health of our elderly population and pay attention to their unique needs. This is especially true in the case of tuberculosis, which affects over 25 lakh Indians every year and kills at least 1,000 every day. India's National TB Prevalence Survey 2021 revealed that the prevalence of TB in people over the age of 55 was 588 per 1 lakh population, much higher than the overall national prevalence of 316. These findings were the starting point for first of its kind rapid assessment report on TB among the elderly, which is published earlier this year in collaboration with the National TB Elimination Program and the US Agency for International Development, highlighting TB's impact on the elderly and the need for age-specific TB guidelines. How TB impacts the elderly. Interviews with the older persons with TB revealed that their TB care journey were fraught with challenges at every step, resulting in an overall suboptimal experiences. Symptoms of TB, including cough, fatigue, and weight loss, are mistaken as signs of other disease and dismissed as signs of old age. The risk of having TB diagnosis delayed or missed altogether is higher for the elderly compared to other adults once diagnosed. Management of TB among the elderly is often complicated by multiple comorbidities, particularly diabetes. At an individual level, this means a higher pill count and an increased likelihood of side effects at a healthy system level. This can result in irregular treatment, adherence of and poor outcomes, including death. Some older people with TB spoke about their lowered will to live, especially in the absence of social and emotional support system. Older people and older women in particular also face specific challenges in accessing health services. For instance, in rural and hilly areas, they struggle to travel to health facilities by themselves. Their access to reliable information on health is also limited. Social networks inevitably shrink for the elderly. Older pensions also experience infrastructure related challenges such as lack of adequate sitting. Crucially, they may not have access to high quality nutritious food, which is critical for recovery. All of this is augmented by a loss of economic independence. Most people over the age of 60 are no longer working, they are living off savings, or they are completely dependent on families. There are some social welfare schemes for the elderly, but these are limited in the scope and difficult to access. Data on TB related stigma among the elderly is sparse, but we know that ageism is real and has been recognized by the World Health Organization as a cause of poor health and social isolations. Many older people we spoke to referred to their fragile mental health accentuated by the loss of purpose and connection, loneliness from losing spouses or family, and the anxiety of not being useful. Building as responsive care. So how can we design and deliver TB care that is elder friendly? First, we must move away from disease specific vertical care programs to holistic care models that reduce the need for elderly to interact with multiple providers and facilities. We must also build capacity among health professionals at all levels for an improved clinical understanding of TB in the elderly and better management of multiple morbidities. Case findings among the elderly can be improved through effective spectrum collection and transportation system, access to mobile diagnostic van and active case finding at the geriatric OPDs, residential homes for elderly and other institutional settings. Technical and operational protocols that provide clear guidance on diagnosing and treating TB in the elderly. For example, simple extraction protocol, comprehensive assessment of comorbidities, and drug dosage adjustment and need to be developed. To address the socio-economic needs, we must design and roll out well-considered support protocol with inputs from the elderly people and with TB. Examples include an elderly focused community care model with linkages to local caregivers, doorstep delivery of medicines as responsive peer support and counseling for older people and their families, special help desk for the elderly at facilities and support with documentation to access social support schemes. At micro level, we must ensure a rigorous gender and age disaggregated collection and analysis of data to identify debit trends across the age groups and to make sure that the elderly are included as a separate age category in all TB reports. An important step towards building elderly friendly system is strengthening collaboration within the health system. Finally, we need a stronger research agenda focused on the TB in elderly to better understand state-specific trends in case of finding it and outcomes among elderly people with TB, substance use, drug resistance, and comorbidity patterns across geographies. Uptake of TB preventive therapy in the elderly and intersectionality with other aspects of equity such as gender, disability, class and caste. Then next जो है the largest climate action lawsuit against 32 countries. September 27 marked the beginning of the historic legal battle in the climate action movement. Six young people from Portugal, aged 11 to 24, are suing 32 European governments, including the UK, Russia, and Turkey, at the European Court of Human Rights in France, Strasbourg. The plaintiff began arguing before 17 judges that their governments have failed to take sufficient action against the climate crisis, thus violating their human rights and discriminating against young people globally. What is the lawsuit? Durate Agustinho and other versus Portugal and others was filed in September 2020 in the aftermath of the wildfires that consumed Portugal's Leiria in 2017. Over 60 people died and 20,000 hectares of forest were lost. The recent states of heat waves and fire across Greece, Canada, and other parts of Europe served as a reminder that every increment beyond the 1.5 degrees centigrade temperature threshold would be catastrophic, intensifying multiple and concurrent hazards, as the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change states in its report. The Portuguese youth claims that European nations have faltered in their climate emissions goals, blowing past their global carbon budget consistent with the Paris Agreement target of limiting global warming under 1.5 degrees centigrade. The nations have thus violated people's fundamental rights protected under the European Convention on Human Rights, including the right to life, the right to be free from inhuman, degrading treatment, the right to privacy and family life, and the right to be free from discriminations. These European governments are failing to protect us, our ability do anything to lives of to live our lives is becoming restricted. The climate crisis is affecting our physical health and mental health. How could you not be scared, said Andreas dos Santos Oliveira. 15 to a media house since the 32 countries contributed to climate catastrophes and jeopardized the future of young people. It falls upon the nation to rapidly escalate their emissions reduction and aim higher in curtailing domestic emissions in line with what scientific evidence shows. The lawsuits argues other measures include cutting the production of fossil fuels and cleaning up global supply chain. The European Scientific Advisory Board on Climate Change, a body which provides scientific advice to EU countries, said countries will have to target an emission reduction of 75% below 1990 levels as opposed to European Union's current 55%. Under some of these principles, the EU has already exhausted its fair share of the global emission. Then next जो है how government agencies use commercial spyware to target opponents. Between May September, former Egyptian MP Ahmad Eltawanwi was targeted with Titrox predator spyware sent via links on SMS and WhatsApp. Apple has since released an update for its products fixing the bug used in the attack. The attack on the Mr. Elentawi came after he publicly stated plans to run the president in 2024 Egyptian election, which is especially concerning since Egypt is a known customer of Citrox Predator spyware, Citizen Lab said in a blog post. Is this first? This was not the first time spyware was used for surveilling a political opponent in a country. In 2021, investigations under the Pegasus project revealed the massive scale of potential targets of spyware. More than 50,000 phone numbers in 50 countries reported shared that victims of the spyware attacks were in India, Azerbaijan, Bahrain, Hungary, Kazakhstan, Mexico, Morocco, Rwanda, Saudi Arabia, and UAE. The Pegasus spyware was also reportedly used by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to target journalist Jamal Khashoggi's wife months before his death. Mr. Khashoggi, a US resident, was murdered at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. He was a known critic of the Saudi Arabian Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. However, in almost all known cases, authorities either choose to deny allegations of use of spyware or have been non-committal in their response. What is spyware? Spyware is loosely defined as malicious software designed to enter a device, gather sensitive data, and forward it to the third party without the user's consent. While spyware may be used for commercial purposes like advertising, malicious spyware is used to profit from the data stolen from a victim's device. Spyware is broadly categorized as Trojan spyware, hardware tracking, cookie, and system monitors. While each type of spyware gathers data for the author, system monitors and adware are more harmful as they may make modifications to the device software and expose the device to further threats. What is commercial spyware? Malicious spyware has been around since the 1990s. Earlier iteration of spyware were limited to being used by criminals to steal passwords or financial information. However, opportunity for government and law enforcement agencies to use spyware as part of legal investigations led to the development of commercial spyware. Commercial spyware mainly target mobile platforms and can legitimately be used against criminals and terrorists. However, the lack of global regulation for companies developing spyware has led to their use by the authoritarian governments to spy on political opponents. Commercial spyware such as the Pegasus spyware from the NSO group can reportedly not only mop up information from the mobile device but also turn on the camera and microphones without the owner's knowledge, effectively turning handset into a spying device. How are the devices targeted? Investigation by Citizen Lab and Google's threat analysis group revealed that the spyware on the former Egyptian MP's device was delivered via network injection from a device located physically inside Egypt. The investigators therefore attribute the network injection attack to Egyptian government with a high confidence. Mr. Elton Tawi device was infected when he visited certain website without HTTPS from his phone using Vodafone Egypt mobile data connection. When he visited these sites, his device was silently redirected to a website that matches the fingerprint for citrus predator spyware. This is where his device was injected with the spyware Citizen Lab shared in a blog post. Further investigation revealed that Mr. Elton Tawi received several SMS messages in September 2021, May 2023, and September 2023 that posted as a message originating from WhatsApp. In India, the Pegasus spyware was part of a 2 billion. In India, the Pegasus spyware was part of a $2 billion package of sophisticated weapon and intelligence gear transactions between India and Israel after Narendra Modi became the first Indian Prime Minister to visit Israel. According to the reports published in the New York Times, the spyware in India was used against at least 40 journalists, cabinet ministers, and holders of constitutional positions. According to the reports, the Washington Post, the spyware was delivered to the victims' phones by exploiting zero-day vulnerabilities, which means even the device manufacturer was unaware of these exploits. And while in all these cases, malicious links were sent to the victim's device, reports indicate that the spyware is capable of zero-click attacks. This means that they can infect a device without requiring users to click on a malicious attachment or link. In the use of spyware increasing between 2011 and 2023, at least 74 governments have contracted with commercial firms to obtain spyware or digital forensic technology. The Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, an independent international affairs think tank, said in a big blog post. Autocratic regimes are more likely to purchase commercial spyware or digital forensics than domestic democracies. 44 regimes classified as closed autocracies and electoral autocracies are known to have procured a targeted surveillance technology, the Post said. Earlier this year, an Indian defense agency was reportedly purchasing equipment from an Israeli spyware firm that is being billed as a potential Pegasus alternative, according to trade data reviewed by the Hindu. The firm in the question is Cognite Software Limited, which faces a class class action lawsuit in the US from investor in 2022. A report from the New York Times said that the FBI in the US had bought a version of the Pegasus deployed NSO products against the journalists and political dissidents. Similar use have also been reported in the UAE and Saudi Arabia. Inconsistency in democratic governments' approach in tackling human rights abuses, the lack of fragmentations in the regulatory framework are seen as enabler in the use of spyware by authorities. An example of this can be noted by the NSO group establishing subsidiaries in Bulgaria and Cyprus to facilitate selling their products. Those spyware firms face backlash. In 2021, after 16 media outlets formed a consortium known as the Pegasus Project and gained access to a list of 50,000 phone numbers targeted by the NSO group's silent, the US blacklisted the NSO group, driving the firm to the brink of bankruptcy. However, patrons of the surveillance industry turned to other companies in the domain to accomplish their goal, leaving the spyware industry as a whole relative to unscathed. Even before the Pegasus project raised an alarm about the use of spyware by the government agency, Germany's Fisher and Italy's hacking team were dominant. players in the market. Products from both companies were linked to surveillance abuses in a range of countries. Israel is the leading exporter of spyware and digital forensics, but the country has not sufficiently prioritized human rights considerations in its export licensing regime, according to Carnegie. How have tech companies reacted? Tech giants including Meta, Google, Apple have taken concrete steps to address the problem of commercial spyware firms exploiting bugs in their software. In the case of Mr. Ellen Tatwi, Apple and Google updated their software to fix the bug exploited by Citrox Predator spyware. Apple with its iOS 16 also released a lockdown mode which the company called the Extreme Protection, designed it for high-risk individuals. While the lockdown mode in Apple's software limits the device functionality, it has proven to be a viable option to protect against spyware attacks. Meta WhatsApp has gone as far pursuing a lawsuit accusing Israel's NSO grouping of exploiting a bug in its software. The lawsuit filed in 2019 seeks an injunction and damages from the NSO group. WhatsApp has alleged that the spyware firm accessed its service without permission 6 months prior to installing the Pegasus software on victims' mobile device. The current US administration has urged US justice to reject NSO's appeal against the lawsuit. Then next जो है इंडिया यूएस रिलेशंस नाउ ऑन ए डिफरेंट प्लेन. The India-US relationship is at an all-time high, and the two nations have moved to a position where they see each other as a very desirable, optimal, and comfortable partner. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has said, stressing that like the Chandrayaan, bilateral ties will go to the moon and maybe even beyond. Mr. Jaishankar made the remarks while addressing several hundred Indian Americans who had gathered at the India House from various parts of the United States to attend the celebrating colors of the friendship event organized by the Embassy of India here on Saturday. There is one clear message today that our relationship is at an all-time high, but as they say in America, you are not seen anything yet, so we are going to take this relationship to a different level, to a different place, he said at the largest ever gathering India Americans at the India House. Mr. Jaishankar said that the success of the G20 could not have happened without the support of US as the host. When things go well, the host always gets the credit. It's reasonable, but the G20 could not have come together if all the members of G20 did not work for its success. He said the contribution, the support, and the understanding that we got from the US to make a successful G20. I think that is something I would certainly like to recognize in public in Washington DC, Mr. Jaishankar said amidst the applause from Indian Americans. So it may have been our success in a literal way, but I think it was a G20 nation's success to me. It was also a success of the India-US partnership. Please keep giving this partnership the support it needs, and I can promise you that this relationship, like the Chandrayaan, will go to the moon, maybe even beyond, he said. Mr. Jaishankar said that the human bond between the two countries makes the bilateral relationship unique. He said the people remember Rajiv Gandhi's visit to the United States in 1985, Mr. Manmohan Singh's visit in 2005, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit is Prime Minister Narendra Modi's several visits. But I have to say that this one PM Modi's recent state visit was different. It was different in optics, and if you ask me what has changed, I would say India and the US earlier used to deal with each other, and now they work with each other. He said he recalled the recent collaborative endeavors between the two countries, all starting with the letter I. These initiatives, including the India Middle East Economic Corridor (I2, U2), India, Israel, and US and UAE Indo-Pacific Cooperation and Initial Initiative on Critical and Emerging Technology (ICET). He said contribution of diaspora in building the bilateral relationship is something fantastic. If there is something unique about our nation's relationship, it is the human bond that we have. The commitment of the diaspora to the India-US relationship is commendable. He added, the minister said the India of today is different from what it was earlier. Then next we have no copyright claim on public service videos, Prasar Bharati officials. The Prasar Bharati does not make copyright claims on any public service content which include the parliamentary proceedings reproduced by it, said official of the broadcaster on Sunday, following an allegation that it had sent copyright infringement notices to YouTube bloggers on parliamentary proceedings. The issue was raised by Congress leader Gurdeep Singh Sapal, a former chief executive officer editor of the Rajya Sabha TV, through his X handle. Prasar Bharati has sent notices to YouTubers in booking copyright on it. This is wrong. This is wrong. Parliamentary proceedings are on national assets of historical values. There are not commercial products that can be used for profiting under the grab of the copyright. In fact, any attempt to limit the access to parliamentary proceeding amounts to censorship and is an infringement of the rights of a citizen to be informed of the happenings of in the parliament. Mr. Sapal said, stating that the Prasar Bharati had never issued such a notice. A senior official said its public services related contents were copyright free. We always strive for maximum disseminations of public services contents, said the officials. Another official said that copyright violation notices on identical content may get generated automatically given the platform's algorithm. However, and and when we received information about such notices which involve public service contents, we take measures to get the issue resolved at the earliest. If the affected person does not pursue the matter with the YouTube, it may not even seek any clarification from us, said the official. Then next we have no shortage of TB drugs in the country. Media reports are false, says Health Ministry. Media reports of a shortage of anti-tuberculosis medicine are false, motivated and misleading. According to a statement issued by the Union government, all anti-TB drugs in the country are available with sufficient stock. The center proactively undertakes regular assessment to evaluate the stock position at various levels, from central warehouses to peripheral health institutes, it is said. The statement cited information mentioned in media reports and said there were not only inaccurate and misleading but also do not reflect the correct picture of the available stock of the anti-TB drugs in the country. The Union Health Ministry has explained that the drug-sensitive TB was treated with 2 months for drugs available as a 4-FDC, isoniazid, rifampicin, ethambutol, and pyrazinamide, followed by 2 months of the three drugs available as a 3-FDC, isoniazid, rifampicin, and ethambutol. All the drugs were available with sufficient stocks for a period of ranging from 6 months and above. The procurement process for the drugs for financial year 2024 to 25 has started. The statement said the treatment regime of multi-drug resistance MDR-TB consists of usually 4 months of 7 drugs, followed by 5 months of 4 drugs. Patients on multi-drug resistant TB medicine from 2.5% of the total TB affected population, and even for this group, there is no shortage of drugs. The government said the procurement shortage, maintenance of the stock, and in times distribution anti-TB drugs and other materials are done at the central level under the National TB Elimination Program (NTEP). In rare situations, states are required to procure a few drugs locally for a limited period using the budget under National Health Mission. so that individual patient care is not affected. The statement read: at present, over 15 months of stock of moxifloxacin 400 mg and pyridoxine are available under NTP. Also, the government has had procured delamanide 50 mg and clofazimine 100 mg in August and supplied the same across the country. Then next, Indonesia set to launch China-funded high-speed rail fast in South Asia. Indonesia is set to launch Southeast Asia's first high-speed railway on Monday, a delayed multi-billion dollar project backed by China that will cut travel between capital Jakarta and another major city by hours. The Chinese-made bullet train named Push is built to take more than 600 people to and from Jakarta and the Javan city of Bandung in 45 minutes and is part of China's Belt and Road Infrastructure Initiative comprising multiple countries in Asia. President Joko Widodo has lauded the project for the fast ride it will provide between the two cities, Indonesia's most populous island Java, and he will inaugurate it on Monday. Delayed project, the train can reach speeds of up to 350 km and high and has cost a joint Chinese Indonesian venture more than $7 billion to build. It was said to cost less than $5 billion and be built by 2019 but delayed due to construction issues and COVID-19 pandemic saw cost spike. Authorities have been running public trials of the new high-speed journey of 142 kilometers before its opening. Then आज का जो last article है Karman line where space begins. Karman line where space begins. Boundaries play an important role in science because they help differentiate and define things that might otherwise blend together. One such boundary is the Karman line located at 100 km above sea level. It is an imaginary line that demarcates the Earth's atmosphere from space. Though not all scientists have space fear except it, a majority of countries' space organizations recognize this boundary between Earth, sky, and space. It was establishing it was established in 1960s by a record-keeping body called Federation Aeronautic International (FAI). Anyone individual who crosses this line qualifies as an astronaut. However, nature seldom adheres to human-made boundaries. Crossing the Kármán line physically does not mean much within a short distance on either side of the line. There is no significant difference in the pressure of the composition of air. The Earth's gravity continues to exert its pull here. Even the Earth's atmosphere does not end here. Why then do we need the Kármán line? The Kármán line was established to regulate airspace. It marks roughly the altitude beyond which a traditional aircraft can fly. Any aircraft flying beyond it needs a propulsion system to pull away from the Earth's tug. It also acts as a legal reference that separates airspace that a country can claim to own from space itself, which is governed like international waters. So friends, this is all for today and we will continue from tomorrow onwards with new news analysis from the Hindu newspaper. So thank you. Thanks a lot.